This video covers Chapter Skills Review 6-30 to 6-31. You're going to want to first open it up, launch Photoshop, and open up Chapter 6 data files, PS 6-2. Zoom in real quick. Save that as ZD logo. Save it somewhere you remember, of course. Okay, and then you're going to display the rulers with pixels. View rulers, mine are already showing. And if you want to know whether or not they're in pixels, you can right click and just make sure. That's another really quick way to pull up and change inches without going into your preferences. Now we're going to change the typography, the space to typography if you haven't already, if it's not there already. Usually it's at Essentials. You want to change it to typography. Okay, I like to have my info panel open too for this exercise because it shows me quickly the XY axis in which we are operating. Now we're going to use the horizontal type tool to create a type layer that starts at 45X and 95Y. Of course, I really don't feel like you have to be perfect on this, but just as best as you can. Right about there. Okay, and then you're going to want to use the black 35-point Lucida Sans font. Mine's at Lucida Sans already. If yours isn't, find it. And your fill, you got to make sure that's on black as well. Make sure it's on 35 points. Type Zenith. Deselect the text. I like to go the Move tool quickly to do that. And reposition the type if necessary. Okay. Use the horizontal type tool and a 16-point type size to create a type layer at 70x 180y. Then type always the best. '70 and 180. Okay. Getting close. There we go. And then you want to make sure that it's 70x by 180y, 16 points. So always the best. I'm going to make sure that's at 16 points, excuse me. Reposition the type if necessary. Okay? And use your best judgment too, like you might see an ad here. Save your work, so Control S. Now we're going to change spacing and adjust baseline shift. Use the horizontal type tool. Horizontal type tool is a default type tool. If you click and hold it down, you have multiple of options. So use that tool to create a new type layer at 210x by 95y. We're getting close here. Okay, can't get perfect. But then go ahead and use a 35-point Myriad Pro font. Okay, and then type design. And select the design type. Change the type color to the color used in the lower left of the background. Okay, so one way to do that is to go to your eyedropper tool, do this, go back to your type, and then click on that color and say OK. Go here, of course we want to reposition the type. Here we go. Change the type size of the D to 50 points. Oops. Adjust the baseline shift of the D to -5. Baseline shift is on your character panel. Select the Z. Go to the Move tool, back to the Type tool, select the Z. Change the type size to 50 points and the baseline shift to -5. Same thing that we did with the D. Select the Z, change the type size, save your work. Okay? So Control S. Now we're going to apply anti-aliasing to type. Activate the Zenith type layer, which mine's already activated if necessary. Change the anti-alias method to smooth. So that can be found under Type, Anti-alias, Smooth. You can see it smoothed it out just a little bit. Save your work, Control S. Now we're going to modify type with a bevel and emboss style. Activate the design type layer. Apply the bevel and emboss style. Okay, that can be found here. Set the style, in the layer style dialog box, set the style to inner bevel. Now, a lot of people may not see inner bevel here. That's because we're still just in the blending options. You want to make sure you're in the bevel and emboss. Style, inner bevel. Set the angle to 150. Angle is at 150. And the altitude 30, which is good. Close the layer style dialog box, say OK to apply the style. And now save your work, Control S. Now we're going to apply special effects. Oh, we want to do the same thing to Zenith as well. Sorry, I skipped ahead. Okay. So now activate the Zenith layer, apply the bevel and emboss style. Make sure that is also 150 and 30. Say OK. Save your work. Okay. Now apply a 1.0 pixel Gaussian blur filter to the Always the Best layer. We'll go to the Always the Best layer. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur, however. It'll ask you to rasterize, say OK. It defaults to 1.0, say OK. Now we're going to create text on a path. Use the ellipse tool with path selected to draw an ellipse from approximately 200x 120y. Now that is this ellipse tool, not this ellipse tool up here. This is the elliptical marquee. We want the actual ellipse tool. So we want to go to 200x to 120y. Right about there. And we want to bring that to 370 to 185. Of course, again, you're not going to get exact, okay? Now, if you have this set as a color, you might want to flop it. So, I'm going to do that again. Make sure that that fill is on none. There we go. The stroke should be none as well. Click the path with the horizontal type tool. Okay, now we're going to go to the horizontal type tool, click the path at about 250, 120. Again, it's not going to be exact. You can get exact, but you drive yourself crazy. So, type since 1962. Using the orange color, so you want to make sure you're on that orange color for the fill. 16-point Arial. 16 points. Arial. Okay. Change the anti-aliasing method to crisp. Which I did. Change the opacity of the type using the opacity slider in the layers panel to 45%. You can do that using the slider because apparently they really like to use sliders. Okay, so I changed that opacity just a little bit. Turn off your ruler display. So view, rulers. No rulers. And obviously I have this 1962 type. I'm going to go in there. I don't like the way that that looks, so I'm going to show it by doing that. And there is a slider on here that you'd probably be better off using. It might be hard to find, and you might only find it in the Move tool. But anyway, you've got since 1962, and save your work. Command or Control S. Good job, everyone. I'll see you in next week's video.